Hey y'all, welcome back to Neptune Rising Astrology. This video is going to be on the new moon solar eclipse that's happening on June 10th of 2021. So, we are finishing up eclipse season. It's been a wild ride, as eclipse seasons usually are. But you know, when it's in mutable signs like Gemini and Sagittarius, it's a little bit more wild. You know, you gotta be a little bit adaptable, gotta be kind of flexible. But here we are, we're finishing it up. Last 2 weeks were probably a little chaotic for you, as they were for all of us. But, you know, we're recentering, we're coming back in. This new moon, this solar eclipse is all about a new perspective, a new narrative, a new story that we're telling ourselves. And yeah, let's get into it. So this eclipse is happening at 19 degrees of Gemini. And what makes it a solar eclipse is its proximity to the North Node, which currently is at 10 degrees Gemini. So because they're within 10 degrees of each other, it's an eclipse. Now, eclipse season, it's a little wild because, you know, the new moon, the full moon, they're so close to the nodes of fate that we're really being kind of forced onto different paths than we've been on for a while. The last time this happened was in December, like end of November, early December, those like first 2 weeks. So if you think back to that time of your life, beginning of December 2020, what was going on for you? What was the chaos then? That's kind of what's being rehashed here. So this solar eclipse is also a new moon. So the sun and moon are joining up at 19 degrees of Gemini. Our ego, our emotional needs, you know, all coming together to create a new chapter, to create a new narrative, a new way of thinking. See, that's what Gemini is all about. It's all about the mind. It's an air sign. It's the twins. It's all about communication. It's all about different ways of thinking about things, different information. It's about your immediate environment, taking in new things, learning, changing your mind, you know, being adaptable. So with this new moon solar eclipse in Gemini, we're having to adopt a new perspective. We're having to adopt a new way of thinking about our environment, our life. You know, whatever's been going on for you, you got to think about it in a new way. And this is especially true because at this new moon, we've also got Mercury Kazimi, the sun and moon. So Mercury Kazimi means the sun and Mercury are conjunct. Kazimi kind of means like burning up. So when Mercury is conjunct the sun, it's being like engulfed by the sun's flames. So this means that our thought process, our communication, the way we internalize, think about, spit back out the world that we're in, that's all Mercury stuff, is kind of being blinded by the rays of the sun, the rays of our ego, of our self. You know, it can be difficult to really see past yourself at this time because our planet of thoughts and communication is just so close to the sun. You literally can't see it because like the sun is blinding you from looking at it. So when we've got Mercury Kazimi while it's retrograde, which it is, Mercury's retrograde right now, this is known as the Inferior Conjunction, which means that Mercury is in between us and the sun. The way that Mercury retrograde works is basically when it's like circling the sun, because it's closer to the sun than Earth is, whenever it's on our side of the sun, it looks like it's going backwards, even though it's not technically going backwards. It's still going the same way in its orbit, but from our perspective on Earth, Mercury appears as though it's going backwards because of the orbit, you know? So right now, Mercury's retrograde, and a lot of things are coming up, you know? Could be exes, could be old friends, just things from the past are coming up for us to rethink, for us to kind of slow down, take more time with communication, that's what Mercury retrograde is all about. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that communication is a little wackier. You got to take a little more time with it to really be clear with what you want to say, with the message that you want to get out. Mercury is Hermes. It's the messenger. It's the communicator. So when Mercury is retrograde, he's kind of stumbling. He's not as straightforward. He's a little bit more of a trickster energy. He likes to play around. Hermes is definitely a trickster. So you could be having to do things twice because it's, Gemini, the twins. But right now at the inferior conjunction, so Mercury conjunct the Sun, this is going to give us a new piece of information and kind of bring something up from the depths of the mind for us to ruminate on for the rest of Mercury retrograde. And this also marks the halfway point of Mercury retrograde. So for the first half of Mercury retrograde, we are in the Epimethean stage, which is all about reflecting, kind of going over things that have happened, rethinking them. Now this inferior conjunction marks the halfway point, and from here on to the rest of Mercury retrograde, we're going to be in the Promethean stage, which is all about thinking about what's next. It's not really the best time to act yet because Mercury's still retrograde, things are still a little wacky, but now's the time to start thinking about what you want to do next. What is coming after this period? What have we learned from the Epimethean stage? What have we learned from kind of ruminating over and reflecting over the past in the past couple weeks? And now we can take that knowledge, we can take all the learning that we did and apply it to the future. We can apply it in this more Promethean impulse of what's coming, what's next, how can I learn from this and move forward and not make the same mistakes maybe. So yeah, that's all fun and games. But with the moon so closely involved, with this new moon right up in this Mercury Kazimi with the Sun, this is going to be really emotional. I mean, Gemini isn't like a water sign. Gemini isn't what you would think of as a very emotional sign. It's air. It likes to keep things light. It doesn't like to get bogged down by heaviness or feelings. But this Mercury retrograde and Mercury Kazimi, the new moon, and the fact that it's a solar eclipse, all of this is going to necessitate more emotional conversations. Because that's really what Mercury and Gemini is all about. Is conversations, communicating, connecting with others, connecting with your environment. This is going to necessitate a new emotional relationship to your environment, to the people around you, a new way of processing your emotions, a new way of thinking about, a new way of communicating your emotions. All of this is very Gemini moon vibes, Aside from the new moon itself, we've also got some aspects involved. So last weekend, Mars and Pluto formed an opposition. And this doesn't happen very often because Mars takes about 1.5 to 2 years to really make a full rotation. And Pluto is so slow moving that it's been in Capricorn since 2008. So Mars only forms an opposition to Pluto when it's in the sign of Cancer, which only happens about every 2 years. So what this means is it's kind of a big deal. So last weekend we had this Mars opposition to Pluto, and this is kind of like an intense, not super fun, intense aspect, because Mars is the planet of anger and our drive, our passion, our willpower, our sexuality, and Pluto is the planet of death and transformation and control and obsession. So when these two are fighting, when they're opposite each other, it can feel really intense. It can feel really aggressive, or just, there's something happening inside or outside you where you're having conflicts. that are very intense. And this is for the purpose of transforming Pluto, transforming our Martian impulse, or the way that we express our anger, the way that we express our sexuality, the way that we express our willpower, the way that we move through the world. We have to transform that with Mars opposite Pluto. So however much you were resisting this, the more intense it's going to be for you, if you know what I mean. And with Mars in Cancer, Mars doesn't really like to be in Cancer because Mars likes to be super straightforward and just like go, go, go. It likes to be very impulsive, you know. But in Cancer, it does not feel comfortable doing that. In Cancer, it feels really sensitive. So this tension between Mars and Pluto could have come up for you in very vulnerable situations. So, for example, Cancer is the sign that rules home or the mother. So this could be a conflict regarding your home life. This could be a conflict just regarding any type of sensitive emotional matter, anywhere that you're vulnerable. Like, think about Cancer as the crab. Like, it has a hard shell, it's got those claws, but what are they for? Because it's got such a soft, like, inside, you know? It's got to be self-protective, it's got to be guarded. And also the crab likes to kind of sidestep, like, it doesn't go for things super head-on, kind of crab walks over to it. So wherever you're not being as confrontational as you need to be, for example, Pluto might have come in and been like, come on, you got to transform that, you got to fix that, you got to get all that shit up, you know, because Pluto is really about exposing the deepest root of an issue. It's about the deepest truth. So Pluto's going to have dug up whatever anger you have that isn't really expressing itself outright, and it's going to expose that. It's going to expose that so that you can transform the way you confront those situations. So you can transform the way you confront those feelings. Cancer is about feelings. So this may have been a conflict for you, you know, a conflict with someone that you care about, with someone that feels like home, someone who lives with you. Or it could just be you in yourself, you know, transforming the way that you confront your own emotions, you know? The way that you deal with your emotions, the way you act on your emotions, the way you act on your creative impulses. You know, Cancer is also super creative. So this could have been a really good time for, like, making art, you know, getting the real, like, depths out through a creative practice. That's a very Mars-Pluto energy. But yeah, it was intense. It was intense, but we're easing up off of it now. Mars is now 3 degrees past this exact opposition, so we're feeling the after effects of it, but, you know, we're kind of cooling down. At the next full moon, which is in Cancer season, it's going to be the full moon in Capricorn in 2 weeks. We're going to have Venus opposite Pluto. I'll talk about that then, but that aspect's basically going to come in to clean up the mess of this past Pluto-Mars opposition, kind of soften it up a little bit. But yeah, so we've got that big tense aspect out of the way. Good job. I hope it wasn't too stressful, but you know, we're done now. Now the other aspect I want to talk about is Venus square Chiron. So this isn't quite exact yet, but it will be in just a couple days past this solar eclipse. So you'll be feeling it this next weekend. And Venus square Chiron is really about confronting our own sense of self-worth, our own sense of security within love, you know? Like, this is about, do you love yourself enough? Are you showing yourself that love? Chiron is the wounded healer asteroid, so it shows us where we really need healing, you know? It shows us our deepest wound. And when it's in this tense 90-degree square with Venus, issues in love can come up. And this isn't just relational love, like this isn't just love with other people, this is really love with ourselves. Because Chiron is an Aries rules the self. So this is where we really need healing right now, is our need to prove ourselves, our need to feel deserving, our need to feel like we are enough just as we are, bare bones, nothing else. That's really what Aries is about, because it's the first sign, It doesn't have anything yet. It's just the self, the pure self. So Chiron in Aries is asking us to heal that, to heal the self, to heal our ability to assert ourselves and, feel like we can go for what we want. We can trust our instincts. We can, trust that gut instinct that tells us, like, go, go, go. Like, you deserve this. Go for it. Make it happen. And Venus in Cancer is very sensitive. Venus in Cancer is seeking comfort above all else. It's seeking a home. It's seeking emotional security. So they're having to really work together right now to establish a type of love, self-love, external love, whatever, that feels healing, that feels like a safe space for you to really be yourself and assert yourself confidently and also feel nurtured, So that's really what this is about, this new moon. Got a lot of conversations happening, got a lot of rewiring our brain, got a lot of rewriting the stories we've been telling ourselves, checking ourselves when we're the ones getting in the way of love, when we're the ones getting in the way of us feeling deserving of love, of giving ourselves love. That's really what this is about. All right, I'm going to pull some cards, see what's going on. So we've got the Six of Wands, Justice, and the Ten of Cups reversed. So this is really about finding a sense of victory in achieving balance in our lives, achieving a sense of fairness, a sense of justice, We're feeling a lot more capable than we have been in the past, I think. Post-eclipse season, at the end of eclipse season, we're really wrapping things up. A lot has changed. And you should feel like you're coming out on top. Like, you should feel like you've won something. And that victory is a sense of balance, Now, with the Ten of Cups reversed, this feels like a very internal sense of having everything, like realizing we have everything we want inside, I also see this as having to balance a sense of like external victory and, presenting oneself as a winner with actually finding inner contentment. Like, what is actually going to make you happy within, as opposed to like what is going to make you come across as a winner, what is going to make you look like you came out on top. We got to balance these urges, especially with all this Gemini energy. It's the twins, so it's really about options. It's really about different ways of thinking about something. It's also about different desires. Like, you think about Gemini moon, you can want two things that are like completely opposite, but you want them both. So right now we want victory, like we want to be winners, but we also want to feel emotionally stable within. Like, we want to feel content. We want to feel like, we have everything we need. And those things, even though they seem like they would go hand in hand, they don't always go hand in hand. So there is a sense of needing to balance those urges, needing to balance pride with, actual emotional fulfillment. And I think that really actually speaks to the Venus-Chiron square that we're going through right now, because, Venus in Cancer just wants to feel comfortable, just wants to be like kind of low key and just like cozy vibes. But Chiron in Aries wants to be a winner. Like Aries wants to come out on top. Aries wants to be number one. So Venus in Cancer and Chiron in Aries are kind of having to work together a little bit, establish a sense of balance, establish some justice. Now, I'm going to see what's coming up next 2 weeks up until the full moon in Capricorn, which finally will be out of eclipse season. Things will feel a lot less chaotic. We're probably going to feel a lot more in control then, because, you know, Capricorn is a sign that really likes to be in control, really likes to know what's going on, really likes to have a plan. And, you know, Cancer and Capricorn are both cardinal signs, so it's really about taking action yourself and, you know, making things happen. All right, interesting. So for the next 2 weeks, we've got the 5 of Wands, the 9 of Wands, and the Hanged Man reversed. So interesting. The 5 of Wands and the 9 of Wands, that energy to me feels like very stubbornly holding on to a fight. Like, this is the conflict card. So this is a sense of, you know, tension in your life, passion, fight, arguments. And then the 9 of Wands is like, you're holding on, you're not letting it go, you're persisting. You might be burned out, you might feel like you're done with it, but you're still holding on to whatever this is. Like, this sense of passion, this war that you're fighting, you're not letting it go. But with the Hanged Man reverse, it's kind of showing like we need to let it go. We need to surrender. We need to surrender the fight. Whatever this fight is, we got to let it go. We got to see it from a new perspective. We got to take back our control of the situation. You know, the Hangman upright is really about letting go of control, letting go of a sense of, because, you know, control is an illusion to a certain extent. Like, you can control how you respond to things, but you can't really control anything else. But with the Hangman reverse, we kind of got to remind ourselves that we are in control of the way we respond to it, you know? Like, we have this new perspective from this eclipse season, very much heavily in this Gemini Sagittarius energy that's all about morals, meaning versus, you know, taking things for what they are, just being adaptable, being open to new ways of thinking, new ways of seeing things. And now we've got to choose how we respond to it, you know. You can't let yourself get lost in a war. You're the one who's doing the fighting. So I guess it's about asking yourself, like, is this really worth it? Is this really what's gonna bring me all my wishes? Is this what's gonna fulfill my dreams? All this fighting for it? I hope that's helpful for you. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your eclipse season. Happy Gemini new moon. Think about things differently. Open your mind. Let yourself change your mind, you know. We're being aligned with our karmic journey right now collectively, so just go with the flow. Don't let things get too heavy, because that's not what this is about. You can have conversations about feelings without getting all bogged down. Like, it doesn't have to be heavy. It can be light. And that's really how it should be right now, you know? Don't take it too seriously. All right, I'll see you guys at the full moon in Capricorn, Cancer season. Love you. Thank you for watching. Bye.